Maybe movies.
I am kind of wondering if his little bat mascot is edible. It kind of looks like chocolate.
Do you really want to risk it?
I think the question really is, do you really want to risk it? Because if it does go bad...
Let's just not, okay? Let's just not. There are no windows to open.
No.
There is no way to get away from the smell. No.
That's the one thing that I must admit I'm not entirely sure that is kind of self-replicating like the popcorn, is the toilet paper.
God, I haven't even considered that. Yes.
Hello! You're here again.
Hi there, everybody.
What are you here? Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes, hello. As you will know, if you've been following us this month, we have decided to flagellate ourselves with the terror of Twilight in opposition to the flawed but still pretty good Underworld. We've already created Twiworld, which actually turned out to be actually rather good.
I'm not sure about that.
Sorry, not rather good. It actually felt like a functional film.
Yeah, less bad.
Less bad, okay. And we are up to the final act of UnderLight.
UnderLight, yes. It's also going further than I thought it would go.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I should have really said, I think we meant to, I had actually meant to say it on Wednesday's show and completely forgot. So, as you probably gathered, we have, over the course of doing this, come up with certain rules and guidelines. They're more like guidelines for how we run the show. Generally, things are like story is king. We will allow, because movie, to a certain degree, but at some point we just have to say, actually, no, this is going to break the story. We don't go any further. But as a result of doing these, we've kind of come up with another little kind of guideline that we want to throw in there, and you have to say it like that for every time now.
Guideline.
Exactly. And so do you at home.
Please, join us.
We are going to introduce breakpoints. We are going to introduce a finite number of breakpoints, which is going to be 3.
Yeah, that seems sensible.
If we can find a way of working around a specific breakpoint, then we will allow it. But as soon as we get to the third one, no, that's stretching credibility. It's a done deal. This is fucked.
Indeed. Yeah, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. That's what we intended to do, folks.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Yes. So I'd just like to ask you all once again to please take the time to take a look at the Kickstarter for my colleague's film Apocryphal, which is a sci-fi/horror movie that's dealing with issues of addiction and mental health, and especially how the tropes and stigmas are used in genre films and trying to challenge those. We're really looking forward to getting this project done. And if any of you can do anything, whether it's simply sharing information about the project, getting involved yourself, or donating to it, would be absolutely wonderful. So please take the time to look at the Kickstarter and share it with your friends and family. Thank you.
Yeah, I did have a look the other day. They seem to be off to a pretty good start.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. So with that out of the way, we are going to leap into Act 3 of UnderLight.
Indeed, Act 3. Where it all gets terribly difficult very quickly.
90% of it is one extended action sequence.
Pretty much. It doesn't really stop. There are occasional moments, but they're like tiny moments.
It turns on a dime. I did notice, again, unless I missed something, I noticed a potential... It's not a breakpoint for us, but it's just a plot hole in the film, which is how do they know where to go?
The Doctor.
It tells them everything except for where they're actually located.
Is it Craven?
Craven runs away.
But the only logical explanation is they got it out of the Doctor.
It must be.
And the implication is the very fact that he's telling all of this information. He's saying, I'm going to tell you because it's too late.
And I suppose also the thing with this version as well is if he's talking about it, it's on his mind. Ed will be able to read it. He may see a flash of...
Of course, so that the plot hole that exists in the previous version doesn't exist here anyway. Yeah, good point. Well done. Go, Silver Star. Have some popcorn.
I would like some popcorn. I thought you were just going to give me one piece of popcorn for that. I was like,
I'm not that mean. I'm not that mean.
I'm going to drop it all over the place.
That's it. Feed your pants.
Sorry, did you seriously just say feed your pants?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
That's a bronze star just for that.
Oh, we've got bronze stars now as well, have we? Okay.
I'm not giving it to you saying it's a bronze star because it's less. It's just that it's something worthy of a star that's not on topic.
Exactly. No, I understand.
The flashbacks that Bella has, I suppose, in this new version are going to be more pertinent and more potent as a woman.
Because it's almost the same story, isn't it? Almost.
Oh my god, yes, even more so, yes.
She's in that dichotomy now. She's a vampire girl and a lichen boy, but the essential principle's still there. Because, I mean, that's what Lucian actually taunts Bella with, that knowledge that you're one of us now. It's history repeats itself, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a gold star each.
Oh, thank you. Well, Craven turns up to screw things up for Lucian, but that's gonna run on rails, isn't it?
That's when the action sequence starts from that point on, because that's when the assault starts.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they'd have just, again, played it up just that little bit more, the kind of the tragedy of it, if you like, because it is, again, like any good Gothic story, it's a tragedy.
I agree, yeah.
Is the fact that obviously after Craven shoots Lucian and he leaves, Race comes back in, sees Lucian there, and he drops Amelia's blood literally about that far away from him. You can see him, as far as he knows, he's dead. But obviously Lucian comes back round. The vials with Amelia's blood are literally within hand's reach of him. But he never reaches for it, and they never allude to it in the way the cinematography is. It's like it's forgotten.
They specifically get broken because it's just why Lucian exhorts Celine to bite Michael in the first place. Very brief cutaway, but somebody steps on them or something.
I must have missed it then. So, how are we going to say this is going to be different then? Because the team goes in. Are we saying that Edward, do they give Edward the lead? I suppose Victor would insist on it.
Let's just think logically about what the sort of person Edward is and how obsessive he is about people he loves.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go in first. It's just not even a question of it. They can't stop him. He's too fast.
Do we then throw in a moment slightly prior to this, or even at this moment when they first get there, that this is actually, you're leading the team now? You are now officially a Death Dealer.
No, if anything, I would say it's the other way around. I would want him to disobey orders.
Okay.
Because it would show his
compassion.
Obsession.
Yeah, I suppose Celine does kind of do that. She does go off on her own at one point, doesn't she?
She does. They're both kind of obsessive, but Edward's like OCD obsessive.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to the raid. Now, on one hand, he's going to rush in ahead and get into deep shit straight away. On the other hand, the other Death Dealers aren't that far behind.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, do we feel that with his speed, he's going to get so far ahead, he's not going to have time for the others to catch up to save his ass? Because he's in lichen territory, he's being attacked by 5 or 6 at a time, massively outnumbered, massively outclassed.
I suppose I should have brought it up on Wednesday, I forgot. We know that he's bulletproof. He's got diamond hard skin.
Mm-hmm.
But is he
Tooth and Claw.
Exactly.
And in that fight, they are fully transformed, fighting Tooth and Claw.
Are we saying it's like again, role-playing reference, World of Darkness, where it's like aggravated damage?
Because in the books, the shifters,
mm-hmm.
their Tooth and Claw could hurt the vampires.
Awesome.
So yes, in that mythos, it makes sense.
He may possibly then get ripped to shreds.
Yes. If he gets too far ahead, the Death Dealers don't have time to catch up with him.
He's still got his speed, he's still got the guns.
For starters, Lucian's out of action, so Lucian can't give any orders to prevent it. And anyway, I don't think Lucian has any reason to think there's any reason to spare Edward.
It's not until he sees the two of them together that he realises.
Yeah, exactly. The question is, he's fast, but so are the other vampires. They're just not as fast as him.
Yeah.
Do we think he'd get so far ahead that they wouldn't be able to catch up with him in time before he got himself ripped to pieces?
So are we saying then that his instincts are taken over and he's using the guns less? He's acting instinctively and he's not thinking about using his weapons?
He's not going to shoot all 7 of them before they can get to him. No. It's just not going to happen. Because again, he's still not got combat experience. The weapon itself helps him because it's a spray and pray. He might be able to get a couple of them, maybe even 3, but I can't see him taking down all of them before they get their hands on him. And then it's their skill versus his.
I think this is really in our hands.
With Edward being that obsessive, he's going to slam hard as far and as fast as he can. And I think he might get himself into deep doo-doo.
I think he might get into deep doo-doo.
Yeah. Never heard that one before?
I have, but it's just, I've noticed this, sorry, it's because when I'm editing this, sometimes I notice this that we do tend to sometimes, you'll say something and then either one of us, either way, will suddenly just essentially repeat what we've just said.
Oh, yes.
And it's just a weird thing to suddenly feel like they need to repeat. I don't know. The only thing that I would say, if we wanted to be kind to him, he gets himself into trouble, but because they're focused
no. I don't want to be kind to him. Do you think I like Edward?
I think he does get into trouble.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he's gone ahead and got himself into trouble means they're focused on him. That may allow the other Death Dealers following up get further along than they would normally do if they were all moving together, because the werewolf's attention is focused elsewhere.
Right, okay, now just for the sake of argument, I can see a scenario where he would get himself into trouble and get wounded, and then the Death Dealers would catch up.
Mm-hmm.
So although they would ultimately be taken out, every time he does this, he's going to get more and more wounded.
I agree with that.
Alright, so in this particular instance, that's the first part of the raid. He's wounded.
Yes.
He has rushed ahead and wounded. We have the whip fight, which is a cutaway scene. It's essentially something with the others.
Oh, sorry, a very complete aside, but it is pertinent to what we're doing here because I'd forgotten about it. It applies really to when we get to the whole reveal about Victor and what Craven says. He can't live by his own rules and live on livestock. So essentially, the vampires in their coven are vegetarian vampires. Because by the sounds of it, they mostly subsist on either synthetic blood, which they've just brought in, or livestock. They don't eat from humans.
You know, that's perfectly right. I hadn't considered that either. But yes, they are. They're all meant to be vegetarians.
Yeah.
You know, they're all living under the masquerade.
But yes, so we get that initial part of the assault. Edward gets wounded to some degree.
Yep. We jump to the whip fight, and then we're back in the tunnels with the waves coming down.
By which point he's on his way up to the lab.
And this is where the Death Dealers start getting cut down.
Yes.
Because they stop just using Lycan tactics and start using their weapons again,
as well, yeah.
and really screwing up the Death Dealers. They get decimated in that sequence.
And of course, this is obviously the bit where you see fucking Victor as the boss. Right?
Oh, he is a boss. But it sounds like he's probably been wounded at least twice at this point.
Yes.
So he's slowed down.
He's no longer that fast anymore. He's got no way of healing himself. I know we're using role-playing tropes.
Well, no, it's generally considered that a vampire's wounded will drink blood in order to heal himself.
Yeah.
It's one of the goes round. So I think that Michael will get to Bella.
Michael.
Edward, sorry. Oh,
that's all right, easily done.
Sorry, people. I'm trying to keep it straight in my head, but it doesn't always work.
Edward somehow gets to Bella.
Probably with a couple of pretty nasty wounds on him. He's slowed down.
Lucian sees him through the wall and realises what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Realises there's a connection here and that there is another way of having his plan still work. Craven gets away. Oh no, this is the point where we get the reveal about Victor.
Not only would Bella be able to tell, but also with Lucian coming to consciousness nearby, that's when Edward would be able to read it. Lucian's going to be thinking all about that because he wants this to happen. He needs that story to be known.
Yes, so the moment Craven mentions it, he'll be thinking about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. So he shoots Bella.
Yes.
And we just have to hope that she can hang on long enough because, I suppose she will do because by this time she's invigorated with her Lycan nature.
So the truth comes out by Crook, and the second bite is administered.
Yes. Are we going to say then that this gives Edward an opportunity to get some health back?
I'd say no. The whole point was to bite, not to feed.
Oh, of course, because they deliver venom, don't they?
Yeah.
It just suddenly occurred to me there, and again, it was like, oh shit, is that a plot hole in the original film? Because if she bites him, she'll drink from him. Does that mean that then she's infected with the Corvinus strain as well?
It's not something the film really addresses at all, and I can't recall if any of the other films address it.
That may be a discussion for another time. So we're saying that he goes into, so that Edward's going into this fight with Victor injured.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Alright, you've got a newly transformed abomination in play.
I must admit, I don't think this fight is going to go well.
The only reason that Edward won't die instantly is because Victor is determined to destroy the abomination and is distracted by it. And
still has a soft spot for him. In the same way that he has a soft spot for Celine.
I suppose, yes. But, no. Even if you look at the original film, it's the reason that Celine isn't defeated immediately is because Victor is like, I've knocked you on your ass, I need to kill this abomination. I have to kill the abomination.
Of course, yes, he does say, I have to make the hard choice again. If we chose to, again, it's another chance for putting another layer on this, because it's like Craven, who was at one point his favourite, has betrayed him and has fallen short of his expectations. Now Edward has done the same.
And turned on him directly.
Yes.
Because at this point, they're in a physical confrontation. It's not just words.
Yeah.
They are fighting at this point.
And let's face it, as I said, Angry Chihuahua is not going to be a match for Victor. I'm sorry, she's not.
She's not, no.
So are we saying that this goes the other way and Victor defeats them both?
Can't see why it wouldn't happen.
Neither of them have any pertinent combat experience apart.
Even with the raw ferocity of the Abomination, it nearly lost. It needed Celine to come in.
We don't know that much about Michael as a character, but he's got the physique to add into that.
Yeah, whereas Bella doesn't.
She doesn't. Yeah, she's
a small,
very
slender girl. I mean, she will have some increased strength and things like that, but not nearly as much.
Oh, honestly, I'm happy with
I think the only question for me is whether Edward survives long enough to see the fight with the Abomination so that they both go down together in the same fight, or does Edward fall first and then the Abomination?
I'm going to suggest it goes the other way because he comes in right at the end. I think we let that play out because it's the climax of the film. But I think he kills Bella first.
I think he kills Bella first, okay.
Which then incites Edward even more into rage to try and take him out, but he is wounded. He's, again, as we've already said several times, he's not that good a fighter, so it's pure strength, pure anger that he's bringing to the fight. Victor will counter that with his millennia of experience and just finish him off.
All right. Ironically, we've sort of broken the film, but we're only a handful of scenes from the end. So, essentially, we haven't destroyed the movie.
We still get the ending because Marcus still wakes up.
So, we've created a tragedy here, haven't we?
Throwback to what I said earlier, all Gothic horror is a tragedy. So, it works. It is a movie.
So, I'm going to say, because just to give it a nice thematic element, it opens with this voiceover from Edward, obviously, being the death dealer, and there are a number of scenes throughout the film. I suggest the film ends with a voiceover from Bill Nye, talking about the progress of the ages or something like that, and about how history repeats itself no matter how painfully. I
like it, and what I also like about it is because it feeds into the actual ending of the film, which is Marcus getting the blood from the lichen, who must have obviously dosed himself with the Corvinus strain, because his eyes go black, don't they?
Of course. Yeah.
So, it's like, this is what we had to do to survive.
Yeah.
We will do it again if we have to. And then you find out that Marcus may actually have been tainted with the strain.
Ah, nice.
We fucking done it. Can you believe it? Not just one, we did both.
I can't believe they survived. No, I cannot believe they survived. I was quite looking forward to breaking these movies, I'll be honest. It sounded like fun to me.
I think I tend to kind of try and, if I can find a way of saving it, because give everybody a chance. But I like
you do try so hard to save movies.
But I like this as well, because we get, as you say, we get the perfect romantic tragedy.
I mean, it's still got the same dark adventure action elements to it, but ultimately it's a Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah. It's kind of dialed up slightly, because it's not just you're destroying one beautiful flower, we're destroying two. You're destroying an abomination. You have a creature that straddles the divide between vampire and werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also got Edward, who's this unique vampire who can walk in the day and he can read people's minds. And they both are destroyed for their love.
Yep.
Oh. Okay, so we're going to take a second here while we consider our...
Well, I already know.
Well, okay.
I'm sorry, but you just summarised it perfectly for me. UnderLight. UnderLight wins for me. We added some layers to Twee World. I don't think it became a good film from it. It just became less bad. Whereas we've created a Shakespearean tragedy here, I think. And I cannot help but appreciate that. You know, we both come from the drama background. We've, got to love it. And it feels pertinent.
Through a lot of this, I've been undecided. I liked what we did with Twee World.
Mm-hmm.
It made it a film that I think I could sit through and quite calm. It made it a film that I wouldn't have actively avoided watching like I did with the original Twilight.
See, I'm not sure myself.
There was enough there that I thought, actually, yeah, we've done some nice things here.
I could watch this, yeah.
But it's one of those weird kind of moments where I've kind of said something.
Mm-hmm.
it's like you have to say something out loud to understand it. It's suddenly like, actually, yeah. So I'm on board as well. Yeah, UnderLight takes it.
UnderLight takes it. So here we go. We have
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up for UnderLight.
Wow. I see this. I must admit that's part of the reason why I love doing this, because they all feel like a journey.
They are a journey. I genuinely expected to break the hell out of these movies. I didn't expect this at all.
So, sorry, I'm just kind of...
I think we flummoxed him.
That's 15 karma. You won't get that.
I do. And I'll be taking that 15.
Make sure you do. So, we have a winner. UnderLight is our maybe movie. Coming to a cinema near you, never.
Ever.
It exists only in your mind, and that's a good thing, because you can make of it what you want. I suppose we have to think about what we do next.
I suppose we do.
Have you noticed that every so often we could just kind of seem to wake up?
Yeah.
But we never go to sleep?
I never remember it, no.
No. So what I think we should do is we should go, yeah, fuck you all, and have a nap. I've got a cover.
Oh, you came prepared. Oh.
I came prepared. Sorry, mate. You're going to have to watch over us while we think.
Your turn.
Yeah, you can talk about some movies now. And we will see you anon.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.